Imagine trying to drive a car completely blindfolded.
Right.
You might be moving, sure, but are you going the right way? Are you about to hit something?
Exactly. It's kind of terrifying when you think about it like that.
And that's pretty much what running advertising campaigns feels like if you don't really get your metrics. Just spending money and hoping.
Yeah, hoping for the best.
But what if you could, take off the blindfold, see the road clearly, turn that ad spend into real, actual revenue?
That's the goal, isn't it?
That's exactly our mission today. This is our deep dive into what top advertisers know about interpreting metrics.
Yeah, and it's crucial. Success in advertising today, it's not really about just throwing more money at it. It's about spending smart.
Spending smart.
Being able to measure, analyze, and then act on that data.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you optimize performance. Turning numbers into insights, into action. That's the key.
Okay, so let's dive in. We want to turn spend into revenue. But, where do we even start? How do we know if our ads are doing anything right? What are the basics, the vital signs?
Right. Vital signs is a good way to put it. Every single click, every interaction someone has with your ad, it tells a story, a numerical story.
Okay.
And these metrics, they're your feedback loop. Real-time feedback on what's working and what's not.
Mm-hmm.
And think about the scale here. We're talking almost $1 trillion in global marketing spend projected for 2024.
Wow. $1 trillion.
Yeah, so being able to read these numerical stories, it's literally the difference between, well, success and just burning cash. Think of each campaign as an experiment, generating data you can learn from.
That makes a lot of sense. I've heard people talk about a metrics pyramid sometimes as a way to structure this, from just eyeballs to actual money back. Can you walk us through that?
Absolutely. The metrics pyramid is a great visual. It basically maps the customer's journey and how we measure things at each step.
Yeah.
So the very bottom, the base, you've got awareness. That's all about reach, visibility, impressions. Reach, basically how many people are seeing your stuff.
Got it. Eyeballs.
Exactly. Then moving up, you hit the middle layer. Engagement. This is where you track interaction. Are people actually doing anything? Click-through rate, time on site, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Then the upper layer is conversion. This is about monitoring those desired actions. Did they buy? Did they sign up for the newsletter? Whatever your goal is.
The payoff actions.
Right. And finally, at the very peak, the top of the pyramid is revenue. This is where you calculate the ultimate return. ROI, return on ad spend, or ROAS, the hard numbers.
Okay, that pyramid structure is helpful. Awareness, engagement, conversion, revenue.
Mm-hmm.
So if that's the whole picture, where should we focus first? What are the 3 absolute essential metrics to get a handle on?
Good question. I'd say the first really essential one is click-through rate, or CTR.
CTR.
Yeah.
Huh.
Now, high CTR, the average for search ads is around, 3.17%?
Mm-hmm.
Because as your ad copy is resonating, people are interested. But here's the critical part.
Uh-huh.
A high CTR paired with a low conversion rate. That's a major red flag.
Why is that?
It usually means there's a mismatch. Your ad promise is one thing. Maybe it's really compelling, but the landing page doesn't deliver on that promise.
Ah, okay.
Think about an online store selling fitness gear. Maybe they have an ad for professional home gym equipment that gets an amazing 5% CTR. People are clicking.
Sounds great.
But then only 0.5% actually buy. Why? Because maybe the landing page shows equipment that looks more basic, not really professional, so expectations aren't met.
And you've just paid for all those clicks.
Exactly. Wasted budget, potentially annoyed visitors. You absolutely cannot look at CTR in a vacuum.
That's a great example. Okay, so CTR is number 1, but needs context. What's the next essential?
The second is cost per click, or CPC.
Right, how much each click costs.
Yep. The average is somewhere around $2.69, but again, that average doesn't tell you much on its own. Interpreting CPC strategically is key.
What do you mean by strategically?
Well, your ideal CPC, what you should be paying, depends heavily on other factors. Things like your product's profit margin. Really importantly, your customer lifetime value CLV market competition. What your campaign goals actually are.
So many variables.
Exactly. Think about it. A B2B software company, maybe they sell enterprise solutions. They might happily pay $15 per click.
That sounds high.
It does, right.
Right.
But if their average customer lifetime value is over $10,000, then $15 per click could be incredibly profitable.
Oh, okay. I see.
But contrast that with, say, a local restaurant. Their average order might be $30. They absolutely need their CPCs to be under $1, probably much lower, to stay profitable. It's all relative to the potential return.
Okay, so context is everything for CPC too.
Right.
And the third essential metric.
That would be conversion rate. This is really where the rubber meets the road. It measures how successful you are at getting visitors to take that action you want them to take. Buy, sign up, download, whatever.
Makes sense.
The e-commerce average is around 2.86%. That's a useful baseline maybe, but your rate needs to reflect your situation. A high conversion rate usually signals that you've nailed your audience targeting. You're showing the right message to the right people. But if you just chase cheap traffic, maybe you get lots of low-cost clicks. But if those cheap clicks don't convert, your actual cost per acquisition, the cost to get one customer, could end up being much higher than if you'd paid more for better quality traffic that converts well.
So chasing cheap clicks can actually cost you more in the end.
Precisely. It's a common trap.
Okay, CTR, CPC, conversion rate. Got it. But you mentioned averages. How do we figure out what's actually good for us? How do we set realistic expectations beyond just these industry benchmarks?
That's a really important point. Setting meaningful performance benchmarks is critical. It goes way beyond just grabbing an industry average.
So what should we look at?
You need to consider your specific market position, your own historical performance data. Look back at least 3 to 6 months to get a baseline. Factor in seasonality, maybe geographic differences if that applies. And platform performance data. Facebook ads behave differently than Google ads. Mobile performs differently than desktop.
Okay, so it's very internal.
Yes, largely. And aim for incremental improvements. If your conversion rate is currently 2%, don't aim for 5% next month. Maybe target 2.3% next quarter. Small, steady gains.
Realistic goals.
Exactly. And remember, benchmarks are guidelines, not rigid rules.
Oh.
They should evolve as your business and the market evolve. And crucially, always look at the relationship between metrics. A campaign might have a great CTR and a decent conversion rate, but if the ROI is terrible, that points to other problems, right? Maybe your pricing is off, or your profit margins are too thin for that particular channel. The relationships tell the deeper story.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. So we've got the vital signs covered. Now let's shift gears a bit. Getting from understanding what's happening to knowing if it's actually, making money.
Right. The profitability question.
Especially with global ad spend heading towards, what was it, $1 trillion by 2025? We need to make sure our slice of that isn't just disappearing.
Absolutely. This brings us squarely into the realm of profitability metrics. And the two big ones here are return on ad spend, ROAS, and customer acquisition cost.
ROAS and CAC, okay.
ROAS is pretty straightforward on the surface. It's the revenue you generate for every dollar you spend on advertising. Spend $1,000, make $4,000 in revenue directly from those ads. That's a 4.1 ROAS.
Simple enough.
Well, simple calculation. But the interpretation has layers. Profit margins matter hugely. A luxury watch brand with 70% margins can thrive on a lower ROAS than a grocery store working on thin 3% margins.
Good point.
Then there's customer lifetime value, or LCV. A 2.1 ROAS might seem bad, but if those customers keep buying for years, it could be fantastic. And attribution windows, how long after seeing an ad do you give it credit for a sale? That varies wildly, maybe 90 days for complex B2B software, but only 7 days for a quick e-commerce purchase.
Okay, so ROAS isn't just one number fits all. What about CAC? How is that different?
CAC, or customer acquisition cost, gives you a much broader, more comprehensive view of what it really costs to get a customer.
Broader how?
Unlike ROAS, which typically just looks at direct ad spend, CAC includes all the marketing and sales costs involved. Think agency fees, the cost of creating the ads, software subscriptions for marketing tools, maybe even a portion of your marketing team's salaries.
Oh, so the total cost.
Exactly. And research, like from HubSpot, suggests businesses often underestimate their true CAC by a significant margin, maybe 40%, because they forget all these associated costs.
Wow, 40%. That's huge.
It really is. So for context, you might see average ROAS around 2.87.1 for e-commerce and average CAC around $45. But again, these are just signposts. Your target ROAS and acceptable CAC depend entirely on your business model and margins.
This definitely feels more complex. So knowing this, what happens when businesses just decide to scale up? We're getting results, let's just spend way more money. Is that a common pitfall?
Oh, absolutely. It's a classic trap. It's what we call the economics of scale and diminishing return.
Okay, break that down.
Typically, when you start increasing ad spend significantly, you go through 3 phases. First, there's often exponential growth. You're reaching the easiest customers, the low-hanging fruit, people already interested. Your initial ROAS might look amazing here.
The honeymoon period.
Kind of, yeah. But as you keep spending more, you usually enter a phase of linear growth. You're still getting new customers with each extra dollar, but it starts costing a bit more per customer. You're competing harder in ad auctions, reaching slightly less interested people.
Okay, costs start creeping up.
Right. And then eventually you hit the wall, diminishing returns. Now, every additional dollar you spend brings back less and less revenue. You've saturated the most profitable audience segments, and you're basically paying premium prices to reach people who are much less likely to convert. Your efficiency tanks.
Can you give an example?
Sure. Let's take that e-commerce company again. Say they're spending $10,000 a month. They're getting a great 6.1 ROAS, so $60,000 in revenue, and their SAC is $40. Looks good.
Yeah.
So they decide to scale aggressively, bump the spend up to $50,000 a month. Now their revenue jumps to $150,000. That's a 150% increase in total revenue, which seems fantastic on the surface.
Sounds like a win.
But their ROAS drops to 3.1, and their SAC shoots up to $70. So yes, they made more money overall, but their profitability per dollar spent got much worse. The cost of acquiring each new customer nearly doubled. That's diminishing returns in action. Scaling broke their efficiency.
Ouch. Okay, so just spending more isn't the answer.
Yeah.
How did the top advertisers manage to scale profitably then? How did they avoid that trap?
They practice what you might call engineering profitable growth. It's a much more sophisticated approach.
Okay, what does that involve?
First off, advanced tracking and attribution. You have to understand the modern customer journey is messy. People see ads on their phone, research on their laptop, maybe buy on a tablet later.
Multi-touch, cross-device.
Exactly. Your tracking needs to capture that complexity. You need to understand view-through conversions, offline conversions if relevant, and critically link ad spend not just to the first purchase, but to overall customer lifetime value.
That sounds challenging, especially with privacy changes like iOS updates and cookies going away.
It absolutely is, which is why solutions like implementing server-side tracking, really building up your own first-party data assets, and using more advanced probabilistic attribution models are becoming essential. You need accurate data to make smart decisions.
Okay, so better tracking is foundational. What else goes into engineering profitable growth?
The second big piece is strategic optimization. Think of it like tuning an engine.
Okay.
This involves several things. One is audience segmentation. Don't treat all customers the same. Identify segments with higher potential profitability and target them specifically, even if the initial cost per click is higher, like that B2B example targeting enterprise clients.
All right, higher value targets.
Yep. Then there's creative optimization. People get tired of seeing the same ad fatigue. You need to constantly refresh your creatives, test different messages, different formats, personalize where possible, keep it fresh and relevant.
Makes sense.
Also, bidding strategy. Moving beyond just setting manual bids. Using sophisticated, automated bidding strategies that platforms offer now, which can factor in time of day, location, device, auction competitiveness. Let the machines help optimize bids in real time.
Leverage the tech.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And finally, don't forget landing page optimization. If your acquisition costs are rising as you scale, one way to counteract that is to improve your conversion rate. Make sure your landing pages load fast, work perfectly on mobile, A/B test headlines, calls to action, everything. Squeeze more value out of the traffic you do get.
So it's a multi-pronged approach. Track better, target smarter, keep creative fresh, bid intelligently, and optimize the destination.
That's a great summary. It's about optimizing the entire funnel, not just one piece.
It's really interesting, though, how you mentioned earlier that so many marketers still seem stuck on just measuring clicks.
Yeah, it's true. Something like 57% still fixate primarily on click metrics.
But as we've been discussing, the real story, the revenue story, is so much deeper than just a click.
Absolutely. The link between a click and actual revenue is, well, it's intricate. It's rarely a straight line. You really have to map the modern revenue journey to understand how advertising actually generates business results.
Tell me more about that journey.
Okay, think about a potential customer. Let's call her Emily. She's maybe looking for project management software. She sees a LinkedIn ad from a company, clicks, browses their site briefly, then leaves. Not unusual.
Happens all the time.
Right. Then maybe a week later, she sees a retargeting ad from the same company on Facebook. This time, it catches her eye, maybe offers a useful white paper. She downloads it.
Okay, a micro-conversion.
Exactly. Then, 2 weeks after that, she gets an email inviting her to a webinar hosted by the company. She attends, finds it valuable, and finally, a few days later, she goes directly to their website and signs up for a paid plan.
Oh, Wow. Okay, so that involved LinkedIn, Facebook, email, a webinar, a direct visit.
Multiple touch points across different channels over several weeks. And research from Google backs this up. Modern customers might interact with a brand anywhere from 20 to 500 times before making a purchase.
500 times? That's incredible complexity.
It really is. Which makes simplistic attribution models like last click totally inadequate for understanding what really drove that final sale.
So how should we think about the phases of that journey then? What should we be measuring at each stage, if not just clicks?
You need to map it out. The awareness phase. People first encounter your brand. Focus on metrics like reach, frequency, maybe brand recall lift if you can measure it.
Getting on the radar.
Then the consideration phase. They're actively researching. Here, engagement metrics become more important. Time on site, content downloads like Emily's white paper, video views. But remember that stat from Nielsen. Only about 3% of highly engaged users typically convert right away. Engagement is good, but it's not revenue yet.
Good caveat. Keep expectations realistic.
Definitely. Then comes the intent phase. This is critical. They're showing clear signals they might buy, maybe comparing products on your site, adding items to a cart, requesting a demo. Here you optimize for these micro conversions. They show momentum towards a sale.
Tracking progress towards the goal.
Exactly. Then the decision phase. The actual purchase or sign-up happens. That's your main conversion event, but it doesn't end there.
What's next?
The often overlooked advocacy phase. What happens after the sale? Do they become repeat customers? Do they leave positive reviews? Could they refer others? This phase massively impacts your total long-term revenue. Even a small increase in customer retention can boost profits significantly.
So the journey continues even after the purchase. Fascinating. But with all those touch points, like in Emily's story, how on earth do you accurately give credit to the right ads? It sounds almost impossible.
It's definitely challenging. And that's where advanced attribution and revenue tracking comes in. Traditional models just don't cut it anymore.
Like last click attribution.
Right. Last click is the simplest. Whatever ad they clicked right before converting gets 100% of the credit. But it completely ignores all those earlier interactions that build awareness in consideration. Remember that B2B example. LinkedIn ads started 45% of their customer journeys, but got zero last click credit because they weren't the final touch point.
So last click misses a huge part of the story.
Totally. Then you have models like linear attribution. It gives equal credit to every touch point in the journey. Better, maybe as it acknowledges multiple interactions, but it might undervalue certain really crucial steps.
Okay. What else?
Time decay attribution. This gives more credit to touch points closer to the conversion. Makes some sense. But it can undervalue early-stage brand-building activities, especially for products with long sales cycles, where those early touches months ago were actually really important.
So what's the best approach then?
The current gold standard, really, is data-driven attribution. This uses machine learning and AI to analyze all the conversion paths and non-conversion paths, and assigns credit based on the actual calculated impact of each touch point. It's the most accurate picture you can get.
AI-powered attribution. Okay. And what are the practical strategies needed to actually implement this kind of revenue-focused optimization?
Well, for revenue-driven optimization strategies, you need the right infrastructure. First, really robust first-party data collection. You need to own and understand your customer data. Second, you need to integrate your analytics platform with your CRM system. This lets you connect ad interactions to the full customer lifecycle, including lifetime value.
Connecting the dots.
Exactly. You also need solid cross-device tracking capabilities to follow users across different screens. And as we mentioned, for privacy and accuracy, server-side tracking is becoming increasingly vital. Companies that really lean into predictive analytics for revenue attribution consistently see better year-over-year growth.
So investing in the right tech and data integration is key. What about the cutting edge? How can we get even faster insights, maybe adjust campaigns almost instantly based on revenue data?
Now you're talking about real-time revenue intelligence.
Sounds powerful.
It is. Marketers who can leverage real-time optimization generally achieve significantly higher revenue per campaign. This isn't just about looking at reports later. It's about reacting now.
Like what kind of reactions?
Things like dynamic pricing strategies, where maybe you adjust prices slightly based on real-time demand signals or competitor pricing, or using automated bid adjustments that are directly tied to predicted revenue value, not just clicks or basic conversions. You need the infrastructure. Sophisticated multi-touch attribution analysis, predictive revenue modeling using AI, those automated bid adjustments, and continuous customer lifetime value, CLV tracking, feeding back into the system.
Can you give an example of this in action?
Sure. There was a retail company, they implemented real-time tracking and analysis. They discovered something interesting. Ad slots in the morning generated fewer immediate sales compared to evening slots.
Okay, so maybe cut morning spend.
That was the initial thought.
Mm-hmm.
But the deeper analysis, looking at CLV, revealed that the customers acquired from those morning ads actually had a 40% higher lifetime value. They were more loyal, spent more over time.
Interesting. So the immediate sale wasn't the whole story.
Not at all. Based on that real-time CLV insight, they actually restructured their ad schedule, shifting more budget towards acquiring those high-value morning customers. The result, a reported 35% increase in overall annual revenue.
That's incredible. Just by understanding the long-term value driven by different ad times?
Precisely. That's the power of real-time revenue intelligence.
This really does feel like a fundamental shift in how marketers need to think, moving way beyond simple metrics like clicks towards this deep understanding of long-term value and profitability. What's the ultimate takeaway here? What does adopting this metrics mindset really mean for businesses?
It means embracing the idea that marketing is becoming much more of a science. Deloitte actually found that organizations that truly adopt metrics-driven marketing achieve, on average, 43% higher ROI.
43% higher ROI, that's compelling.
It really is, and it's not just a fad, it's an evolution. If you look back, marketing intelligence has gone through phases: the basic awareness era before 2000, the digital revolution, the multi-channel phase, the intelligence age, and now we're firmly in the predictive era, where advanced analytics can actually help forecast performance and optimize proactively.
So how does a business build this capability, this metrics command center?
It requires a few key components. First, that robust data collection infrastructure we talked about, balancing comprehensive tracking with privacy compliance, using server-side first-party data, cross-device ID solutions.
Got it, the foundation.
Second, you need the right analysis tools. Increasingly, this means leveraging sophisticated AI and machine learning for things like predictive modeling, detecting anomalies in performance automatically, recognizing complex patterns in customer behavior that humans might miss.
AI playing a bigger role.
A huge role. There's another e-commerce example. Using AI-powered analysis, they discovered that customers acquired via social media ads, specifically during weekday evenings, at a 47% higher CLV than other segments.
Wow, that's specific.
Yep. So they reallocated their social ad spend heavily towards those evening slots, and their overall campaign ROAS increased by 156%. That's the kind of granular insight AI can unlock.
That's powerful stuff. What about the future? Where's this all heading?
Well, the future of performance analytics looks even more interesting. We're starting to hear about things like quantum computing potentially revolutionizing complex optimization problems. Edge computing could reduce latency, enabling even faster real-time optimization right where the user interaction happens. And as things like extended reality, XR, virtual and augmented reality, become more common, we'll need entirely new measurement frameworks for those immersive experiences.
So the pace of change isn't slowing down.
Not at all.
Yeah.
There's already examples, like a B2B software company combining edge computing for faster data processing with AI analytics. They managed to reduce their customer acquisition cost by 43% and improve the quality of their leads by 67% by optimizing in near real time based on very early signals.
Incredible. Okay, so wrapping this up, it really seems clear that success in advertising today and definitely tomorrow isn't about outspending the competition. It's about outthinking them, using data intelligently.
Exactly. It's about turning that flood of data points, clicks, impressions, conversions, revenue, lifetime value into powerful, actionable insights that drive smart decisions.
Transforming numbers into strategy.
Precisely. And maybe a final thought for everyone listening. Every single metric tells a story about your customers, their journey, their relationship with your business. The real skill, the top advertisers know this, isn't just in reading these stories. It's using those insights to write the next chapter of your advertising success. So keep learning, keep testing, keep asking why behind the numbers. That curiosity is key in this constantly evolving landscape.